Hello, my friends, and welcome to Italy, a Place to Love YouTube channel. The channel where we are talking about Italy, a place to love, and Italy, a place to know. So, what is about to know today about Italy? Italy seen from the eyes of a foreigner. Okay, as usual, I like to report stories, and I found a very interesting story today that I want to share with you. So let's start from the title of the story that I'm gonna read anyway, and is the experience of a person who spent 1 year in Italy. Now, let's read the title. I lived as a foreigner for a year in Italy. From coffee to pigeons, the 7 things I learned that everyone should know. So, she's already warning there are 7 important things. There are so many important things, but it's interesting. That's her point of view. And let's see anyway what is her impression after living 1 year in the Bel Paese, in the beautiful country in Italy. So, some warnings for foreigners who decide to visit Italy, according to the first hand experience of the author Sima Karaman. Now, I can read the name because, anyway, it's an article. So basically, this is most for people who decide to come to visit Italy, not to relocate. But anyway, even for people who are planning to move, your first experience, if this is your first experience, just try to understand these basic concepts that this author is sharing. Now, Italy enchants foreigners with its breathtaking landscapes, mild climate, and extraordinary cuisine, but behind its apparent lightness hides a culture full of unwritten rules. And from this point of view, I have to agree 100%. The unwritten rules in Italy are so many. Now, after a year of living in the Bel Paese, the author, Sima Karaman, a freelance writer, has learned to recognize and respect these rules, avoiding embarrassing situations and disapproving looks from the locals, which who cares, even if the locals are disappointed, are disapproving your behavior, unless you are not misbehaving. Believe me, there's nothing. I think Italy is changing a lot from this point of view. Okay, these are typical Italian stereotypes, but according to me, um, anyway, these are just stereotypes. Things are changing, are evolving, and Italians are not anymore as they used to be 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. From coffee to pizza, from pigeons to linguistic expression, the journalist has created a list of 7 things to know before coming to Italy. Okay, now we are all curious and let's investigate, according to her, which one are the 7 things to know before coming to Italy. Her first cultural impact was confusing. Looking for a coffee, she was directed to a bar. Of course, where do you want to take a coffee? To a bar. In Italy, bars are often not places to study or work, but to have a quick coffee at the counter. I mean, I can partially agree. Anyway, if you see tables at the bar, you can sit and you can do whatever you want. You can even stay 1 hour. I usually do this. I mean, I don't bring my laptop, but I can spend easily 1 hour at the bar if there are tables. Obviously, if a bar doesn't have tables or is a very small bar with only 2, 3 tables, I won't spend over there a long time. So, um, but to have a quick coffee at the counter. Yeah, that's true. I mean, many times Italians just go to the bar to have a coffee at the counter, an easy cup of coffee, and and let's go. So, but to have a quick coffee at the counter. I also want to say, because this was a funny comment that I read under one of my videos, saying also children are allowed to enter in the bar in the bar. So basically in Italy anyone can go at the bar. It's not only because they are selling alcohol that children cannot go. uh, because children might buy many other things, pack of crisps. So uh, bars are not only for people over 18 in Italy, so anyone can go. Then when I was young, I'd say at the bars they were even serving me alcohol if I was under 18 without any problems. Nowadays, I'd say they think twice. If you're 16, 17, I think they will serve you alcohol. Now, I hope I'm not saying anything awful. Um, Actually, this should be an interesting video about the approach the Italian people have with the alcohol that is different from the approach that other nationalities have. Um, it's an interesting topic. For example, I remember, now I'm just telling you shortly a story, went with my father to the bar when I was 6, 7 years old, and we were in the bar that were selling sweets with liqueur inside. And so I said, Dad, I want one of these. Please, can you get me? My father gave me. Obviously, what's the problem for a 6, 7 years old child to have a sweet with a bit of alcohol? There's no problem at all. And oh, Dad, it's very tasty. Can I have another one? I got two, after two, obviously, with this liqueur. I said, Dad, I have a very strange feeling. What's wrong with this? And then my father bought me another one, and then I fell asleep straight away. All right, but that is not the only experience, for example, that I had with the alcohol when I was very young. Maybe I was 8, 9 years old, and I remember my grandfather pouring me a bit of wine, his handmade wine, homemade wine. He poured me a glass like this. I had a sip. I didn't like it. And then big shame in the family. How dare you are not a man if you don't like wine, and so on. Then I didn't drink wine for nearly 20 years after that experience. Then I started drinking when I was already in my 20s. But before my 20s, I was mainly drinking beer. I wasn't drinking wine just because that experience traumatized me. So I think to put a lot of restrictions, this is my personal opinion, that to put a lot of restrictions on children might have a kind of reversal effect then when they are 18 or 19, when then they are allowed to drink, then they might go very heavy. For example, I never drank alcohol at home, and I'm still not drinking alcohol at home. Never. I don't remember having a lunch or a dinner with a glass of wine or a beer. Simply never. All right, then her first cultural impact was confusing. Looking for a coffee, she was directed to a bar. Now, every morning I drink my espresso standing up, chatting with regulars, and then go. For example, if you're having a coffee in the morning and you are into your routines, you just go to the bar, you go to the counter, you have your coffee, you say good morning, how's things, blah blah blah, 5 minutes, and then you go. Simply, oh, I like this, and then we go. We don't spend a lot of time, but I think anywhere anyway in the morning, unless you are not working, it's a day off, and then you decide to spend. But then you pick up a bar, for example, with tables outside. That, for example, if it's Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and you are not working, obviously you can sit at the bar and spend all the time that you want. Actually, if there's nice weather, you can even enjoy the nice weather. So it's not only coffee to go and that's it and bye bye. She tells, well, if the coffee is quick, lunch is a ritual. I have waited an hour for my dish, but in Italy there's no rush at the table. I disagree with this. Authentic restaurants, other family run, prepare everything with care. If you are in a hurry, it's better to come back when you are not, says a sign in one restaurant. Now, I like this sign. You might find typical signs like this out from the restaurants, maybe telling you an advice. In this case, they say, listen, if you are in a hurry, it's better you come back when you're not in a hurry. Then go away. They are even kicking away customers, hypothetical customers, says a sign. What I disagree, for example, I have waited an hour for my dish at lunch in Italy. there's no rush at the table, I totally disagree. Because if you're having your lunch break, it's not true. Your lunch break is 1 hour long, so you need to have lunch in your. So they're quite efficient. Now, I remember this mainly when I was working in Torino, in the north of Italy, and they were always extremely efficient. So if you go to a bar, because in many bars they also serve lunch. For example, you're gonna have your lunch after 5, 10 minutes that you're sit at the table. I'd say more for the dinner, you might wait a bit longer. Because anyway, the dinner, you sit at the table, you are patient enough, you are not in a hurry to eat and finish and go. So you are paying, actually you want to spend time. In Italy, it's not nice. For example, I remember once in a restaurant in Rome that they were serving me everything so quick, and then even when I finish, they were kind of trying to kick me out from the restaurant to say like spare the place for other customers. I said to that people, please, I'm paying here and I stay as long as I want. If I want to spend 10, 15, extra 20 minutes chatting with my friends, I mean, you cannot kick me out. Absolutely. But in some places, for example, more touristic places, they might kick you out. They might serve you very quick, even at dinner, prepare one dish after another one, removing your dish. I don't like it. Personally, I prefer when it's slow at dinner. For lunch, no. Obviously, I pretend a quite kind of quick service. All right, so this is about the coffee, this is about the restaurants, the other unwritten rules. An unforgivable mistake, ordering a pizza with salmon and calamari. Now, again, this sounds a bit strange to me, the fact that when you go to a pizzeria, when you're ordering a pizza in the pizzeria, you are ordering the pizzas that are on the menu. You are not inventing your own pizza. Nobody here in Italy invent his own pizza and say, please, can you bring me a pizza like this? Now, I don't believe she ordered a pizza with salmon and calamari. What I can agree that we have pizza with seafood, which I find personally disgusting. I mean, I would never and ever buy a pizza with seafood. Now, with salmon and calamari is squids, rings, um, the squid rings. So basically, I don't believe she ordered that pizza, because if the pizza is not on the menu, is not on the list of the pizzas, you are not gonna order a pizza that is not on the list. My Italian husband looked at me in horror. My in-laws wanted to leave. Now they're a bit exaggerating. For example, if I go to for a dinner with my parents and my wife is ordering a cappuccino after the dinner, at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., nobody's looking at strangely my wife. I mean, she does whatever she wants. For me, these stereotypes are over. In this globalized world, let me open this topic about globalization. The world nowadays is more globalized than we can imagine. So these type of rules are not really existing anymore, not even in Italy. So she recalls, for many Italians, the only authentic pizzas are margherita, which I agree, margherita is a common, marinara with anchovies, which I love. I love pizza with anchovies, diavola, which is with salami. In Italy is with salami, not with pepperoni, because if you're asking for pepperoni, anyway, you're not asking a pizza with pepperoni because you will never find it in the list. If you want a pizza with pepperoni, you need to ask for a pizza with salami or diavola, which is the spicy salami, hot spicy. Diavola is hot spicy. The devil, hot spicy. Then Quattro Stagioni, the Four Seasons. That one, another of my favorite pizzas, with olives, artichokes, ham, and mushrooms. Usually not mixed all together, but divided in four: a quarter with mushroom, a quarter with olives, a quarter with artichokes, and another quarter with ham. Despite the myth of the infinite pasta, Italians do not eat exaggerated portions, which is true. Also because if we go for a main dish with pasta and then we have a second meal, a second course with meat, you don't want to exaggerate because then you are not going to enjoy the second meal. So the second, in Italian we say primo e secondo. Okay, wait a second here because the page translated back into Italian. Okay, let me go and read. So despite me, so Italians do not exist. Okay, places that offer unlimited pasta. We have these places that eat as much as you want. I mean, I don't personally like it. I never go. But if you don't have a huge budget and you wanna eat a lot, you can eat as much as you want. What I don't remember what it's called in English anyway. I remember there were places where you could eat. You pay a fixed price and then you can eat as much as you want. Or enormous spritz, these huge spritz with 5 straws, are tourist traps, which I kind of agree, but obviously Italy is a touristic country. You might find a lot of places that are just mainly for tourists. After the tip on coffee, lunch, pizza and pasta, the one on gelato could not be missed. Of course, yes, yes. Gelato, the ice cream, is extremely important in Italy. First of all, let's say that is one of the only thing that is allowed to walk and eat. Generally, Italian people don't have sandwiches, and we generally don't eat and walk, but gelato is one of the few things that we are allowed to. Not even a pastry, for example, if you order cappuccino at the bar, cappuccino and brioche, the pastry, you eat it just at the counter, your pastry and your cappuccino, bite of pastry and a cappuccino, a sip, and so on. So good gelato doesn't have to look like it came out from a cartoon. And I actually agree. If the pistachio is neon green or the raspberry is bright red, it's best to avoid it. She explains. Real artisanal gelato has natural, delicate colors, and I agree. I don't like, even if, for example, when I was a child, I remember this shiny color. We had, I remember, one gelato called the Smurf, I Puffi, the Smurfs, this cartoon from my childhood, this blue, the Smurfs. Sorry if I'm laughing. And then after the Smurfs, some gelateria, some ice cream shops, they start selling the Smurf flavor. And the Smurf was blue. Now, what is in the Smurf? Nobody knew, but as a child, I liked this shiny color, and I was always buying. Then, by growing up, I start liking different type of flavors. I start eating pistachio, for example, ice cream only because my wife loves it. For me, I would never had a pistachio ice cream. I know it's crazy because it's one of the best in Italy, and now I can even appreciate. But my favorite tastes were maybe strawberry, tiramisu, chocolate, lemon, cream, vanilla, or stracciatella. Stracciatella is a kind of cream, white cream with pieces of chocolate. Very, very nice. Stracciatella. Then, about how Italian men behave. Okay, this is the last paragraph. Many female tourists, the author explained, deceive themselves into thinking that a bella, because in Italian men quite often say, hey bella, is an attempt to win people over. But in reality, Italians use this word for everything. And it's true. But anyway, Italians are like this. We used to whistle or comment. I remember me doing this not millions of times, but thousands of times. A compliment for me was always a compliment. I never found a girl that obviously has to be shown as a compliment. Then nowadays nobody makes it anymore. But when I was in my 20s, uh, early 20s, I remember giving compliments and no one was ever shocked. I mean, actually, women, they used to appreciate. Nowadays, maybe it's changed, but anyway, things are changing, habits are changing, and so on. So my is an attempt to win. Okay, Bella Mia is often just an affectionate greeting without any romantic undertones. I agree. Okay, again, let me translate the page. Yeah, so basically, Bella Mia is also an affectionate. It's like if you're affectionate to someone, you say Bella Mia, like in a caring way. So there's nothing over that more than caring. It's often just an affectionate greeting without any romantic undertones. A final warning, this is interesting, and I agree with her. Watch out for pigeons. Feeding them can be expensive. I find them cute, but for many Italians, they're just annoying birds. And for me, before Ireland, they were just annoying birds. After Ireland, I start changing my mind because I had an interesting story about the pigeons in Ireland. Was I like it. I like it. So feeding them can. Many Italians are just annoying birds, and it used to be for me like that. She says in some cities, feeding them is prohibited and can result in a hefty fine. Yes, for example, if you are feeding pigeons in Venice, they can fine you. They have this huge problem. I mean, we never liked pigeon anyway. In general, we see them, okay, they associate them with illness and damage the monuments. The woman concludes, we see them as dirty animals, but technically pigeons, for example, I see plenty of pigeons here in Montemilone. They're cute, but I remember the story in Ireland when I hope you're watching up to now. Anyway, one day, sit on the balcony where I was living, a pigeon, and I said, okay, then 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and the pigeon wasn't moving at all. I mean, I was shocked why this pigeon is staying there. Then tried to get to approach the pigeon. I got closer, and then I see that there was a kind of ring around the leg of the pigeon. And then I said, oh, okay, this is not just a normal pigeon, has to be something particular. And then, so I approached him. He allowed me to take him on his hands, and was so clean, was beautiful pigeon. The best pigeon I ever seen in my life was a racing pigeon. Now I didn't know, for example, that in the northern country, but mainly in UK and in Ireland, there is this passion to raise the racing pigeons. Anyway, what did I do then? I read the number on the ring. I went on Google, I typed the number, and I've been able even to call in UK and to find the owner. The owner was in UK. Then I brought to one place, which they brought back this pigeon to his owner. And I remember when his owner in UK got his pigeon back, he sent me an email saying thank you very much. The pigeon got lost. Maybe, racing pigeons, they make mistakes. They're not all perfect. Anyway, my friends, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, which I find it quite interesting anyway, to share the experience of this foreigner that lived 1 year in Italy, married with an Italian. Now, this is a bit tricky because obviously if you are coming with zero knowledge of Italy, in 1 year anyway, you're gonna be aware and you understand all the things about Italy. But if you're already married with an Italian, sorry, you already know all in advance all these things, even the way your husband approached you when you met. All right, my friends, so I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you here on Italy, a place to Love YouTube channel in my next video. Bye.